I am live, and I am excited. All right. Okay, I've been anticipating this day and I'm excited about it. So I'm going to wait till someone join me in the room. I'm going to wait a few minutes, but then we're going to get started. And if you catch this live at another point, you can catch it on replay. Let me fix my phone here. So you can catch it on replay if you catch it later, but put the word replay if you watch it after the live. That way I'll understand kind of what time people are actually catching it. So anyway, I want to say, hey, welcome. My name is Imogen Nelson. I am with emergingprosper.com, and I am so excited to be here. Hi, Victor. I'm excited too, and I'm glad you're here with me, my brother. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to be talking about the growth mindset and 3 principles to living unapologetically you, living your best life, being you, the God of the you God made you to be, not the you that the world is trying to say you who you are. Hey, Pat, it's so good to see you here. And I'm gonna tell you guys right now, we're going to be interacting with each other. We're going to talk. So I'm going to have you put some things in the chat. So I want you guys to just lean into it, dive into this with me, and we're going to walk through this process together. So again, we're talking about the growth mindset, and that's what we're going to be kind of focusing on today is our growth mindset. And so, our mind really tells us, thank you, Victor, for that. Our mind tells us how we're perceiving the world. How do we perceive the world? How do we perceive ourselves? What do I think about me? What do I think about when I think of the world? How I perceive the world is not necessarily how, say, Victor or Patricia are perceiving the world. But we look at the world differently because we have different records that we have in our mind. We have all these different records that we have gathered from our past, from our youth. We have all these different things that we're working with in our lives that have happened to us, that they're etched into our minds. And then they're causing us to go how we're looking at things going forward. So as I'm saying that, just say for me, I grew up in a very dysfunctional environment where there was abuse, where there was trauma, there was rejection, there was abandonment, there was emotional abuse and physical abuse. And so I have all these records that I had to actually is helping me, but it's making me perceive the world as I see it today. Well, I saw it in the past before we start talking about this growth mindset. And so anyway, as I began to perceive the world, so the world was telling me, my past was telling me that, you're going to get rejected. You're going to be abandoned. You're going to be hurt. So when I went on in life, I didn't really take risks, and I wanted to be friend to everybody because I didn't want to be rejected. And if that meant those friendships meant that sometimes that I gave all of me, they didn't have to give none of them. I gave all of me because it was on the way I perceived. I didn't want to be hurt. So therefore, I just walked in all this abuse because that was my norm. Right? And so that is kind of that way how our past can affect how we are perceiving the world. But we're going to talk about the growth mindset right now. And what does that mean? When I say growth mindset, what does that mean? So when someone has a growth mindset thrives on challenges. It thrives on challenges. It that when you fail, when there are some kind of failures happen in your life, that it's really just a springboard to get you to your success, to get you to that dream. Because guess what? You're going to fail at something in this life. But you know what? Guess what? That is just the way life is. You have to fail. You have to fail. And any one of us out there that we know, we have children, grandchildren, watching them begin to walk. They get up, they fall down, they may bump their head or whatever, but them little babies are determined. We need to have that mindset. And sometimes I wonder, that's why God tells us to have the mind of a child, because they get up and keep moving forward. And that's how we are to be. That is how we are supposed to take on our lives, and how our lives are to be is because we have to have that growth mindset. So in talking about a growth mindset, there's always someone, if you have a fixed mindset, and that's where most people if you're not thinking about your life intentionally, that's how we are in this fixed mindset. And so a fixed mindset says, how I am right now is how it's going to be. Who have ever said this statement to yourself or something similar? And I want you to put it in the chat, me. If you have ever said something, not this exact statement, but something similar. If you have said something, well, this is my bed and I must lie in it. Basically saying, well, I made this happen, so I just got to stick it through. This is how we stay in abusive relationships, whether there be intimate relationships, relationships at work, relationships with our family members. It's because we are saying, this is my bed and I have to lie in it, and this is how it's going to be for the rest of my life. And I can tell you that was me. I used to say that all the time to myself. I was in an abusive marriage and I used to say, that's my bed. I made this bed. I must lie in it. And that was it. There was no hope. But see, that's not how God made us. God told us we have to have hope. And so, and with that was that fixed way. But see, we have to understand that it is not about saying this is how we are, that we have to know that anything that we're doing in life, anything that we do in life, there is going to be a point where we're going to hit a brick wall. But you know what? That's when you're going to have to teach your mind how to climb over the wall, how to punch through the wall, because that's what we need to do. That is a growth mindset. Saying just because the wall there, it's not saying I got to stop. It's saying go get your damn sledgehammer and start beating the wall. That's what a growth mindset is about. It is not allowing anything to stop you. And I'm gonna give you this saying. It's called the law of polarity. And what that says, for every action there is an equal opposite action, right? Okay, just stay with me right here. For every action there is an equal opposite action. And why is that important? It's because, just say for instance, if I tell you I can't be a millionaire, I can't be a millionaire. Well, that is me saying that, but the opposite and equal reaction to that is saying that I can be a millionaire. And the truth of the matter is, I'm saying I cannot be a millionaire, but there are millions of people who are millionaires. So there is a way to do it, right? So we have to say to ourselves, then if I'm saying I cannot do something, but there is an equal opposite action to it, there is a way to do it. The bottom line is, it's come down to a choice. It comes down to what's in our mind. What are we telling ourselves? How are we stopping ourselves? It is a choice. It is saying that how I can do it regardless of what my mind is saying. Yeah, you're going to have to go against what your mind is telling you. And I'm going to tell you that right now. I have to do it all the time, because that's just the way, that is just the way it is. If you want to get out of that fixed mindset and get into a growth mindset. So, and I have to say this too. I'm a woman of faith. And so I have to always remember that God is no respecter of a person. So whatever God has for someone else that is doing big things, it's for me too. It may not, that process to get there or that exact thing may not be mine, but what he has for me is for me, right? So I have to keep the idea of having a growth mindset in my head. Hey, Tony, how are you doing? Hey, Marvis. So glad you guys are here joining with me. And so a growth mind, it focuses on growing through the experiences, good, bad, or indifference. And let me tell you guys, for the last year or so has been probably one of my toughest years that I had to really walk in this space of a growth mindset, because I was telling myself some really negative things, like I couldn't do it. I couldn't be completely who I was. I could not make Emerge and Prosper into a business. I could not help the people that God has told me, have poured in my spirit and said that he wanted me to go forth, and there was people that he needed for me to help. But you know what? I was telling myself the complete opposite. But see, that's what it is. We have to understand that it's our choice in our mind. It's like, my shirt, it says, I choose me. We have to choose me. And I choose God that's in me. And I choose me first. because I have to work through the process first, right? So growing through my experience is just really a battle that's in your mind. And let me tell you this, you know how the Bible talks about, I believe it's in Romans 12:2, it says, be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And so, and he said, let me read, that you may be proven to be good and acceptable and perfect in the will of God. God is already telling us, transform your mind, go into a growth mindset. And I have those things that is waiting for you, right? So those things, it's in our mind. Our mind will trick us into thinking we need comfort and ease, right? Saying I need comfort and ease. Then we think we've made it. And you know what? I was thinking about this in this scenario, how we are saying like, oh, we see like, you see the rich and the famous, or where people doing traveling or whatever, and we see them laying on the beaches, relaxing and all this, right? But we never think about, we just see them on the beach, but we never think about what the process they had to get to the beach. What they had to do, what would they be willing to do? What was they willing to do? And what was they willing to fight in their mind? Because I'm going to tell you now, the battle is in your mind. It's not really with your sister and brother. It's not really it's in your mind. Because if you can get this growth mindset, you will be able to go leaps and bounds. The things that you hear people say about you or say against you, when somebody's going to like say mean things to me, that would have shut me down. I go into depression mode. Oh Lord, I wonder why and this, and maybe I'm not good enough. Now, like, whatever. All right, I see you on the other side, and that's how I feel now, because I know I'm not afraid to fail. I'm going to do something real wrong in this video, but you know what? It's okay. I am going to get better. I'm going to get better, and I know that. So whatever it is in life, be willing, embrace that failure, learn from whatever it is that you need to learn. And that's how we keep moving. That's how we keep moving in life, that we have to be willing and not allow our brains to trick us. Not allow our brains to trick us into thinking that we all have to get something in comfort and ease. So if you're understanding what I understand, if you're understanding that what I'm telling you is a process that we have to go through, you have to allow the process and live in the moment of the process. I want you to put in the chat, it's a process. Come on, put in the chat, it's a process. Own that and understand what it is, that we don't get from here to there by just jumping over everything. You have to be willing to battle the things that are in your mind. Things are going to come against you, but you have to be willing to just embrace that failure and then ask. You got to ask yourself, why? Why is so powerful? Because let me tell you guys really quick, I did a live video sometime back. And when I began to ask myself why, because I was wondering, why am I keep ending up in these like dysfunctional relationships? Let's keep it 100. I was in one dysfunctional relationship into the other. And you know what it was? When I finally sat with myself, sat with me, and being real completely honest with me and the God in me. When I was honest about it, I realized I was searching for Captain Save-A-Ho, because I wanted to be saved. I wanted to be saved, and I was like this damsel in distress, come save me all the time. But I wasn't willing to sit in this space because I didn't understand until I asked myself that why. And then that attached to, it was when I was younger, that how I was always, because we were in such a dysfunctional environment where I was in a space where, the men were trying to be like predators on these little girls and have nobody to watch them or anything. And I was always scared. I was always hungry. Nobody was loving me. And so I was looking for someone to save me. And that's why I stayed in these relationships, although they were very abusive, although they were taking, but they were not filling me in, because I was in a space that I was looking for someone to save me. But you know what? With a growth mindset, I had to deal with that. I had to deal with the fact that something was blocking me from going to where God was trying to get me to go. And so, hey, Matt, and so I had to understand that. And so therefore I had to deal with it. I had to just own it, deal with it, and put it out there, because I was not going to allow shame to stop me. Nope, hands down. Nope. No more shame. Shame will stop that growth mindset, because you will feel like, I don't want anyone to know what I'm going through. I don't want anyone to know that I have experienced these things. And while we're sitting back trying to be in secret, we are staying in a fixed mindset and we're not growing. And I want what God has for me. I want every single bit of what God has for me. And I am not taking nothing else for an answer. And that means dealing with me. That's your biggest challenge. And that's why I love teaching youth, because get them to understand early on in life, be 100% responsible for yourself. And then respond with your new self, with your growth mind. You have so much, there is so much more for you. And so, and I know, I'm going to try to wrap this up, but I get excited. Y'all. Are y'all excited? I get so excited, because when it gets me closer to where I'm going in life, my dreams, my goals, I get excited. So what I want to say to you is that we just have to recognize that where you are right now in life, there is a choice. Again, there's a choice. You're going to choose you. Choose you, and choosing you meaning that you're ready to embrace the experiences that life has for you. The good, the bad, and the ugly. You're not by yourself. I'm going to tell you that right now. You're not by yourself. You're not by yourself. And that's what our minds tell us. Our minds say, oh, this is just happening to me. Nobody else can understand what's going on with me. No one else understands. Sister, brother, I'm going to tell you right now, there is nothing new under the sun. Nothing new up under the sun. And I didn't know that till I began to just basically share who I was, who I am unapologetically, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Because you know what? That's where I'm breaking generational curses, and I'm laying the foundation for my legacy. That's what this is about. Breaking generational curses and laying the foundation for your legacy. So let me make sure I am not forgetting things, because I didn't went completely off my notes and I'm just talking from my heart, because that's what the reality of it is. So let me say this. I'm going to be closing out now, and this is a 3-day series. So tomorrow we're going to be talking about being intentional and owning the real you. Being intentional and owning the real you. And I advise you and I implore you to go visit my website. It's emergeandprosper.com. And on there, if you go onto my first page, there is a couple of products on there. One is a personal development plan, and it comes with a complimentary coaching. So that we'll have you develop this plan for yourself, and we're going to walk you through it. And so, I'll be walking you through it and get you from where you are now to where you want to go, but not in this fixed mindset. We're going to talk about how do you get there with the you God created you to be. With that you. That's what I want to talk to you about. And I got to share this one last thing. This is one thing, I'm sorry, I just really have to share. This was something so powerful, just happened to me the other day. I was going through a situation, and again, I tell you, life is a process, so I got to go through it too. So I was going through a situation, and I was feeling so down, and I was angry, and I was all these things, right? And you know what? I was looking at, and a girlfriend of mine told me, she said, Imogene, why are you looking at this situation from the little girl that you used to be? Why are you not looking at this situation for who you are and who you are going to be? Flip the lens on that. What? I'm going to tell you right now, when I flip the lens on that right there, when I flip the lens, it's like, no, those lens they have, I flipped it off, talking about seeing it clear. I stopped looking at it from the little scared little girl who was abandoned and who was abused. I wasn't looking at it through that lens. I'm looking at through the lens of me, Imogene, being the CEO of Emerge and Prosper, the one who is healed and who is living in the life and abundance who God has given power to. That's the lens I'm looking at it through. And when I'm telling you, when I did that, man, the whole situation cleared. So I implore you today, whatever you're looking at today, I ask you to flip the lens on it. Flip the lens on it and look at it from not from the you that's over in the past. Look at from the future you, who you're growing to be. So with that, I love you, my dears. I love you. You are my family. And I say until tomorrow, I'll talk to you then. Bye.